Om. 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 Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanao Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Samasta Jana Kalyani Niratam Karuna. Namami Chinmayam Devam Satgurum Brahma Vidvaram. Om Apyayantu Mamangani Vak Pranashchakshushrotram Balamindriyani Cha Sarvani Sarvam Brahma Upanishadam Maham Brahma Nirakuryam Ma Brahma Nirakarot Anirakaranamastu Anirakaranam Me Astu Tadatmani Nirateya Upanishatsu Dharmaha Temai Santo Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Okay, all right. So now we are in Chandogya Upanishad, chapter 6. So I will just recap what we have done so far. So far, what has happened, so we know what the thought flow is. Śvetaketu went to his father. He had gone to Gurukula and he had come back and he was all proud. He felt that he knew everything. And his father said, but Śvetaketu, did you know that by which Yena ashrutam shrutam bhavati, the unheard becomes heard. Amatam matam, the unthought of becomes thought of. Avignatam vignatam sya, the unknown becomes known. And Śvetaketu said, no, I did not know that. Probably they didn't know, that's why they didn't teach me. This is how arrogant he was. So his father said, okay, let me teach you. Let me teach you what it is. And he says something so important. He says, look, Śvetaketu, or he calls Somya, says, Somya, just like from one lump of clay, everything made up of clay is just clay alone. Everything else is vacharambhanam vikaro namadheyam. Everything else is just based on speech. All products are just based on speech. And we'll go through this phrase again because it'll come later. So then he tells Śvetaketu that in the beginning, Sat, there was existence alone. Existence alone was. And this whole world, in fact, is an expression of that existence. And though some people say the world came from non-existence, he proved that it was existence alone. And it is existence now also. We're bringing in time, that the word was, because to convey this knowledge, we have to be in a realm of space and time. But actually, this existence is way beyond time and even space. Then this existence, now from this existence, to show how everything came from existence, it said that this Sat did ikshanam, aikshata, visualized. And when it says that Sat visualized, it's bringing in now Chit, that existence is also consciousness. It's not just this inert presence, but it is consciousness. And with that power of Māyā, there was a thought, may I become many. This is our innate desire that's there in all of us, may we become many through all kinds of ways, through progeny, through wealth, through people, through companies. May I become many. So then that Sat visualized. First, the first thing that came out was fire, Teja. Then what came out was water, up. Then earth, or Anna, right? So Tejo Banna, this acronym is there, which literally means fire, water, and earth. And how it's connected is that from Sat Chit with Māyā came fire. And so whenever there's heat, there's sweat. There's sweat that comes out of our body. Or whenever there's tears, there's water. And then from water came earth, because whenever it rains bountifully, crops grow, food grows. And so the whole creation came like this. And we had also mentioned that when we speak about creation in our scriptures, there is what we call Yugapat Srishti or Krama Srishti. So Yugapat Srishti literally means that sometimes creation is spoken of as everything coming all at once, like a dream, Yugapat, it just comes as a dream. Sometimes it's spoken in krama, in order. So space, air, fire, water, earth, or fire, water, earth. It's spoken in these terms. And the purpose of it is not to dwell on how creation happened, because the purpose is to dwell on that which is beyond creation, that Brahman which is beyond creation. So now, last time we saw something very nice, that we are now on the third chapter, and I'm just reviewing the mantras that we saw. So the first mantra said that the wombs that came out, or the beings came through Andajam and Jivajam or Jarayujam, means from the egg, from Jarayu, from the womb, or Udbija, from the plant. And this Devata, now we call this Devata, the Sat, which is Chit, now visualized, now that all these subtle elements are made, these subtle fire, water, earth, they're called Tanmatras, which means only fire, only water, only earth. All of these subtle elements are made. Now let me enter into them. So anena jivena atmana anupravishya. Let me enter into that. What is this entering? This entering is literally to show that what is in us, or in our mind, intellect, equipment, is a reflection of consciousness. So how do we understand this? See, we cannot prove that matter produces consciousness, correct? We cannot prove that any matter produced consciousness. There's no proof of that. We have not seen that. We have also not experienced that. So we eliminate that. The next line of thought is, can consciousness produce matter? Can consciousness actually produce matter? But the thing is, if Brahman produces matter, then consciousness would be modified. Because whenever we produce anything, we are subject to modification. So if I am creating, let's say if I'm an engineer and I'm creating a building, so there's going to be so much effort on my part, so much thinking, so much work, so much running around, so much modification is going to go through me to produce this building. I'm going to be subject to change. So it cannot be also that consciousness produces matter. And even in our religions, we see that whenever they talk about God, it's as though God manifested the world, but God didn't change. So God manifested the world or created the world, but God didn't change. God didn't become half, or didn't become weak, or didn't become tired. That's the same thing we also believe, that consciousness appears as this world. So not that matter produced consciousness, not that consciousness produced matter, but consciousness appears as this entire world of beings. So this entire world of beings is nothing but consciousness. Like the dreaming mind appears as the entire dream. Like the dreaming mind appears as the entire dream. And in the dream, some beings are sentient, some beings are insentient. The same way, consciousness appears as this entire world, both sentient and insentient. Now, as consciousness appears as this world, there is what we call an entry. Entry means that not everything in this world is sentient. Some things are sentient. Why? Because they have a mind and intellect equipment. So whenever there is a mind and intellect equipment, what happens is the manifestation of consciousness can be available there. So consciousness appears also as the stone. Consciousness appears as this floor, as this table, as this computer, as this carpet. Yes. Consciousness also appears as a plant. But a plant has a subtle mind. It has a little bit of a mind. So it is able to manifest life. Consciousness also appears as an animal. And an animal also has a subtle mind. So it is able to manifest or express life. Consciousness appears as human beings, as you and I. And we have a subtle mind, so therefore we can express life. But in a computer, in a floor, in a carpet, that doesn't have a mind. So consciousness cannot express there or as life. So this anena jivena atmana anupravishya, this entry of consciousness into matter is simply saying that in the presence of consciousness, matter can be enlivened if it has a subtle body. If it has a subtle body, meaning if it has a mind and intellect equipment, in the presence of consciousness, matter can be enlivened. How? What is the example? So the example there is just as a person is standing in front of a mirror, automatically the reflection appears in the mirror. So you take mirror to be the mind, and you take the reflection to be the reflection of consciousness, what we call Chida Abhasa, sometimes we call Jiva, the individuality. So effortlessly it's happening, right? When you're standing here, your reflection is there in the mirror, you didn't do anything. It's just there. And if there are 100 mirrors, there are 100 reflections. You didn't do anything. It's just happening. In the same way, in the sun's presence, the sun is just there. When there's a water body, the reflection appears. The sun doesn't do anything, but the reflection just appears. So this is called entry of consciousness into matter, or the manifestation of the reflection of consciousness in matter. This is how, according to Vedanta, we are enlivened. We are enlivened. So then there's no question of us thinking that we are samsari. We are samsari means we are subject to transmigration, because consciousness never became the individual. That person standing in front of the mirror with the reflection never became the reflection. Never became the reflection. That consciousness is just appearing as that reflection. So therefore, when I think that I am the reflection, then all of the things that the mirror is going through, I am going to go through. The mind being joyful, being sorrowful, being disturbed, being agitated, being peaceful, I am going to go through. But when I understand that I am actually that original consciousness, then I don't have to go through that. So then the question is, if that reflection of consciousness is illusory, it's illusory because it's just a reflection, then is this whole thing illusory? So that jiva, that reflection of consciousness as jiva is illusory. But that jiva as Brahman is real. So that bracelet as bracelet is illusory. But that bracelet as gold is real. So everything belonging to this reflection of consciousness or this jiva is also illusory. That bondage, liberation, everything is also illusory. So this, when we understand this, it is just a switch in thinking, but it is a switch in strong thinking. It's not like we hear it and we get it and that's realization. It's a strong conviction, but it's just that switch. Just like the 10th man. For the 10th man, you all know the story. The switch was simple. I am missing the 10th man and I am the 10th man. That much is a switch. I don't know who the 10th man is and I'm completely in sorrow. And then the switch became, I realize that I am the 10th man. That's it. So the shift is in the thinking. That I am not the jiva. I am not this jiva who is subject to samsara, subject to this world of transmigration, but I am. That is a switch. So therefore, this consciousness appears as this entire world, as the ascendant and insentient, and particularly in the sentient, appears as the reflection of consciousness. So that much is there in this third chapter, mantra 2. Now, one doubt might happen or might occur, but I still don't get how consciousness is actually this world. How is existence or consciousness exactly this world? So there are a few ways we can look at that. One is when we look at anything, any object, what is entering our eyes is not the object, is light. Correct? So when we're looking at this whole world, what's entering here is just light. In the eye, it just becomes light. Not the bottle, not the computer, it just becomes light. When you're seeing me now, I become light. That light, when it goes through the retina and it enters the brains, it's just those currents. It's not light anymore. It's that energy, it's that current. So when you're seeing me now and I come to your brain, it's just these current. This energy is current. And then when it enters the mind, it is just thought. So when you're seeing me and I enter your mind, I'm just a thought. Not this person is not entering your mind, just the thought. And that thought is enlivened by consciousness. That thought is nothing but consciousness, because that thought is bathed in the light of consciousness. Or as we show in Upanishad, Pratibodha Viditam Matam. Every thought is bathed in the light of consciousness. When I'm seeing the world, I'm actually experiencing consciousness. Because from my eyes already, when it comes to my eyes, it's just light. When it comes to my mind, it's just this electrical energy. It's just this energy. When it comes to my mind, it's just thought. And that thought is bathed in the light of awareness. Now, so this is consciousness. This whole thing is just consciousness. And another way to look at it from the existence standpoint, how do we say this whole world is existence? Because, again, you keep using that same logic. This world is sometimes existing, sometimes not existing, correct? In the waking state, it's existing. In dream state, it's not existing. In deep sleep state, it's not existing. But so existence is not the nature of the world, because it's sometimes existing, sometimes not existing. The mind is existing, sometimes not existing. This individuality is existing, sometimes not existing. So this is not the nature of the world. This is not the nature of the mind. This is not the nature of the individuality. Existence is not the nature, the individuality of the world, of the mind. But it depends on existence for its existence. It depends on existence for its existence. So because the bracelet cannot exist without gold, the bracelet is gold. Because the pot cannot exist without clay, the pot is clay. Because the world cannot exist without existence, then the world is existence. So from this way you go, world is consciousness from one way. From this way you go, the world is existence. But the ultimate reality is that Sat Chit, existence, consciousness. This whole world is just existence, consciousness. So now, this Devata, this Sat said, into these three beings, fire, water, earth, let me enter. Let me enter and let me manifest this whole world of names and forms. So now we have the subtle creation. Then in mantras 3 and 4, the gross creation starts. So the subtle creation, that pure fire, pure water, pure earth, it now grossifies. How, for example, 50% of the fire is mixed with 25% water, 25% earth, and that comes as now grossified fire. Then that subtle pure water, 50% of it mixes with 50% of fire, 50% of earth, and that now becomes grossified water. And that subtle earth, now 50% of it mixed with 50% fire, 50% water, becomes a grossified earth. And this process of grossification is called Trivrit Karanam. Trivrit Karanam means the grossification of these three elements. So we have Sat, which is Chit, with Māyā, manifesting this whole subtle world as fire, water, earth, entering into some beings, those that have minds, as a reflection of consciousness. And then slowly the world is becoming grossified. When the world is becoming grossified through this process of Trivrit Karanam, then we start to see things. Because of when something is gross, we can see it, hear it, smell it, taste it. And thus the world is born. Then now, section 4. So the beginning of section 4. So I'll just elaborate on that a little bit. In section 4, what he really wants us to do is says, whatever you see in this world, it is nothing but fire, water, and earth. It is nothing but the subtle fire, subtle water, subtle earth. And that subtle fire, subtle water, subtle earth is really nothing but existence. So he gives 4 examples. First, he says, section 4, mantra 1, Yat Agne Rohitam Rupam. So of fire, that redness is fire element. When you see fire, The redness is the fire element. Yet tejasas tadrupam, yet shuklam tadapa. That white in fire is water element, right? Yet krishnam tadannasya. That black in fire is earth element. So if you look at fire, you see that, okay, there is some red there, that is the fire element. There's some white there, that is the water element. And then there is some black there, that is the earth element, right? Then it says, apagat agnehe agnitva. When you realize, when looking at fire, that it's nothing but this subtle fire, subtle water, subtle earth, then there is actually no fire. That fire is vacharambhanam vikaro namadheyam. That fire is the vikara. Vikara means it's an effect. Vacharambhanam, it is just based on speech. Vacha arambhanam, based on speech. Namadheyam, it is just namesake. Trini rupani tyeva satyam. This subtle fire, subtle water, subtle earth, that is the reality. So there is actually nothing called fire. If you take fire, you see that it's just consisted of these subtle elements, subtle form of fire, subtle water, subtle earth. Then what is fire? There's no separate thing called fire. It's just really these three substances. So these three substances alone are real, but from these mantras, we have to understand that, take it a level further, the only reality is Sat, or existence, because these three subtle elements came from existence. So the same thing he applies in three other examples. So 4 examples total he has. One is fire, one is the sun, one is moon, and one is lightning. He says, if you take any of this, so one more example we will see, the sun. Adityasya rohitam rupam. That red in the sun, you take that to be the subtle fire element. Then, tejasastadrupam, yat shuklam tadapam. That white in the sun, you take that to be the water element. Yat krishnam tadannasya. In the sun, there's black spots. That black, you take it to be the earth element. And what happens is, apagat adityat adityatvam. When that sun loses its sunness, because all it is that subtle fire, subtle water, subtle earth. So the sun loses its sunness. That sun, that word sun, is just then a figure of speech. It's just a figure of speech. There's no substance called sun apart from these three elements. They're apart from this existence. The same he does with the moon. The same he does with lightning. That the moon is nothing but subtle fire, water, and earth. And we understand that, then the moonness of the moon is gone. The moon is just these elements. Lightning is nothing but subtle fire, water, earth. We understand that lightning is gone, because it's just these subtle elements. And again, as I said, these subtle elements are nothing but Sat, or existence. So now you take it to a dream example. So the dreaming mind is there. The dreaming mind is there. The dreaming mind is appearing as the sentient beings in the dream, people, friends, relatives. It's appearing as the insentient beings, the grass or the road. It's appearing as that. And it's appearing also as me. I'm also in the dream. So all of these things are in the dream. We have the road, we have a car, we have our family, friends, me, we're going on a road trip. Everyone's there on the dream, in the dream rather. But if we realize that this dream is nothing but the dreaming mind, then where is the car? Where's the road? Where are the friends? Where are the family? Where is me? Where am I? You take You take out the dreaming mind and this whole thing just collapses. So these things in the dream, they're called vacha rambhanam. They're just based on speech. They don't exist apart from the dreaming mind. So when we said last time that this world is nothing but words, as world is nothing but words, you ask that question, right? Why do we say that? Because there is no substance apart from existence. Sat eva somya idam agra asit. Sat alone is. And this whole world appears on existence. And so everything is just existence. Everything is just existence. And when you remove existence from the world, the whole thing collapses. So there is no world apart from existence. So that's why we say the world is just words. It's just words. And how we come to learn about things is also just words. How we come to learn anything when we are a child, and although we see table, somebody has to tell us this is a table. Only then we recognize this is a table, for the most part. So we are learning the world through words. But without existence, the world has no reality, no separate reality. So therefore, we say vacha rambhanam. It is just speech. Whatever we're talking, whatever we're doing, whatever we're saying, it's just vacha rambhanam. It's just words. The only reality is existence. What a very beautiful thing. So this is what he's trying to say. Now we will see how it says here now that the wise ones, this is what they also understood. So that's what we will see today. We are now in mantra number 5, 4th section, mantra number 5. Etadhasmavai tadvidvamsaha ahuhu purve mahashalaha mahashrotriyaha purve mahashalaha mahashrotriyaha no adya kaschana ashrutam amatam avijñātam udaharishyatiti hyebhyo vidan chakruhu. So what he says here is that tad, etat, this etad ha sma ve, all of these things, vidvamsaha, these wise people, purve, the ancient, mahashalaha, these were great householders. So these wise ones, great householders. Shala means, like we say patashala. So like an assembly of study, yajna shala, like a assembly of yajna, performing sacrifice. So mahashalaha refers to great householders who took part in these assemblies, who had these assemblies. Mahashalaha, mahashrotriyaha, the great Vedic scholars, ahuhu, they said, at present, naha, to us, kaschana, there is nothing, there is na kaschana, there is nothing, ashrutam, there is nothing unheard, amatam, there is nothing unthought, avijñātam, there is nothing unknown, udaharishyati, there's nothing that we could point out that is unknown, unthought of, unheard of. Ebhyaha. Thus, from these three, from subtle fire, subtle water, subtle earth, Vidan Chakruhu, they understood everything. So how to put that together? It was indeed on knowing this triplication, this grossification, that the ancient householders and great Vedic scholars said, there is at present nothing that anyone would point out to us as unheard, unthought of, or unknown. From these, they understood everything. So they understood now very clearly that this whole world is entirely these three things: subtle fire, subtle water, subtle earth. Again, but the origin of it is Sat, that you'll have to add. They knew that everything is just these three things. There's one beautiful shloka. I'll read it and then I'll translate it. Karye hi karanam pashyet, paschat karyam visarjayet, karanatvam tato nashyet, avashishtam bhaven. Karye, in the effect, karanam pashyet, see the cause. So in this world, this whole world, in the effect of the world, see what the cause is. And the cause is Sat, existence. When we see that the cause is existence, paschat karyam visarjayet, then the world is nothing but existence, correct? Because we said the world cannot exist without existence. So therefore, the world is nothing but existence. So the effect goes. The world is an effect, and the effect, the cause of the world is existence. And once we know that without existence, the world cannot exist, we drop the world. So existence alone is. Now, existence alone is karanatvam tato nashyet. You cannot call it a cause anymore because there's no effect. So we cannot call it a cause anymore. Avashishtam bhaven munihi. It just alone is. And that Sat is you. So they knew that everything they saw, everything they heard, everything they thought of is only Sat. So there was nothing unheard of, unthought of, unseen, unknown, because everything was Sat. Everything was existence. So if it was something we learned in math, it's existence. If it's something we never heard of, a whole new concept or a whole new country, it's existence. There's something we thought of, an idea, it's existence. There's something we never thought of this idea, it's existence. There's something we heard, a new song, it's existence. Something that we've never heard this instrument, it's existence. So the wise people knew that everything is just existence. What a wonderful thing. Now you'll ask me, what's so great about knowing that everything is existent? Existence. So I'll explain this part and we'll see the next mantras. See, Sat and Chit is great. I'm existence, I'm consciousness. But why should I know I'm existence? Why should I know I'm consciousness? Because Ananda. Because only when I know that I am this infinite existence and infinite consciousness, non-dual existence, non-dual consciousness, then there is bliss. How is there bliss? See, only in non-duality there is bliss because there is no want, there is no need for some other being, for some other thing. There's a sense of completeness. So if I alone am this entire world of beings, then am I going to want myself? So I alone am, this is me. Am I going to say, I want my hand, or I want my arm, or I want my leg? Very funny to say. right? I'm already this. Why should I want my hand? Why should I want my arm? Why should I want my leg? Why should I want my head? This is me. This whole thing is me. Why should I want myself? Now, when I understand that this whole world is me, so why should I want all these other things? They're already me. When I don't understand that this whole world is me, then what creeps in is this thing called desire. It creeps in. I now want that. I want to be with this person. I want to gain that status. I want to earn that business. I want that. Why? Because I forgot, or I am not clear or convinced that there's something other than me. I mean, I'm not convinced that everything is me. I think that there's something other than me. So whenever I think there's something other than me, that is sorrow. The root of sorrow is duality. Because when I think there is something other than me, either I am striving to pursue it, or either I am striving to run away. And when I strive to pursue it, what happens? I might get it. And if I do get it, I may want more. And there'll be greed. I might not get it. And then if I don't get it, there may be anger. I might not get it, but somebody else may get it. Then there's jealousy. So all of these things start to spring forth. So I am going towards it. I may get it. I may not get it. What if there's something other than me and I'm trying to avoid it? Now, if I keep trying to avoid it, I am living in fear and insecurity. Because what if it comes to me? And then if it comes to me the whole time, I'm just waiting and waiting, stressed to push it out from me. Let it go away from me. So whenever there is duality, whenever we're pursuing something other than us, understand that there is going to be sorrow. Unavoidably, there will be sorrow. That is why the root of sorrow is duality. Because we're striving to get it, or we're striving to run away from it. And in either of this, there is so much effort, so much strain, stress, tension. And this whole thing takes up our whole mind. And before you know it, we've lost our mind. This is what happens. We lose our mind. And we're back in the world again. But these wise ones, they knew everything is me. So now why will I go out and unnecessarily strain and toil and stress and be tense? Unnecessarily, why will I go out and do that? No, but how did they live? They did not move. No. Santushtaha. Yena kena. Whatever it is that came to them, they were fine with it. Because they knew that it is whatever has to come will come. Whatever will go, will go. So their idea of life is whatever comes, welcome it. Whatever has to go, let it go. There's no use in holding. See, when this mudra is so free, isn't it? Whatever comes, welcome. You have to go, go. But this mudra is very tensed. I want to keep you with me. I don't want to let you go. This is very tensed. So our wise ones, they knew this truth. Therefore, they had no issue in the world. Vidhan Chakapu. Continuing, mantra number 6. So before I go there, now, so this link to Ananda is very important. So that Sat, Chit is Ananda. If we miss this is the Ananda part, then there's no point in Sat and Chit. There's no point in existence and consciousness. Existence and consciousness is easy, logical to get. But if we miss this Ananda, we miss this knowledge. Okay, mantra number 6 now. Yadurohitam iva abhut iti. Yadurohitam iva abhut iti. Tejasastadrupamiti. Tejasastadrupamiti. Tadvidan chakruhu. Tadvidan chakruhu. Yadushuklam iva abhut. Yadushuklam iva abhut. Iti. Iti. Apam rupamiti. Apam rupamiti. Tadvidan chakruhu. Tadvidan chakruhu. Yadu Krishnam iva abhut. Yadu Krishnam iva abhut. Iti. Iti. Annasya rupamiti. Annasya rupamiti. Tadvidan chakruhu. Tadvidan chakruhu. So mantra 6, they said, Yadu, whatever, rohitam iva abhut, whatever appeared red, iti, tat tejasaha, tad rupam iti, that is also fire, that's the fire element. Tad vidan chakru, they knew that to be fire. Yadu shuklam iva abhut, whatever appeared white, iti, tat apam rupamiti, they knew that to be the color of water. Vidan chakru. Yatu Krishnam iva abhut, whatever appeared black, iti. Tadannasya rupamiti, they knew that to be a food. Tad vidan chakru. So again, this is just a metaphorical way of saying, when you look at nature, this is also a very beautiful practice. Whatever is red, they said, that's tejaha, that's fire. Whatever is white, that's water. Whatever is black, that's prithvi, that's earth. So they looked at the entire nature. They said, there's nothing unheard of, unknown, unthought of, because whatever is red is fire. Whatever is white is water. Whatever is black is food. And this fire, water, and earth is nothing but sat. This is nothing but existence. So therefore, when they looked at the world, they reveled in it. All of these different variations are there, nothing but sat. But someone might ask now, what if something didn't have these colors? Because the colors that are given are red, white, and black. Red, white, and black. Now this is green. So what if something is green? But I saw something, this is orange, it says black. This is orange. What if something is green? What if something is orange? So they said, mantra number 7, Yadva vijñātamiva bhūt, Yadva vijñātamiva bhūt, iti, etasameva devatānām, samasah iti, tadvidan chakruhu, yatha khalunu somya, yatha khalunu somya, imaha tisro devataha, purusham prapya, trivrit eikaika bhavati, tanme vijanihi iti. So now they said, Yat-u, whatever, avijñātam iva abhūt, whatever appeared to be unknown, maybe because it was a different color, green or orange. That also, etasam eva devatānām, that is also of these three. Devatas here mean fire, water, and earth. That also is of these three devatas, these three deities. Samasah iti, it is a combination of these three. So even if it's green, even if it's orange, even if it's purple, it is a combination of these three. Vidan chakru, they knew it. And again, everything is existence. Somya, my dear boy, yathalu khalu, but how imaha tisraha devataha, how these three deities, Purusham Prapya, on reaching a person, Ekaika Trivrit Trivrit Bhavati, each one becomes threefold. Tat me vijanihi, know this from me. So whatever appeared to be unknown, that also they knew to be a combination of these three deities. But dear boy, know from me how on reaching any person, each of these three deities become threefold. So the idea here is that all of the, let's say in the color wheel, there are three primary colors, right? Red, yellow, and blue. All the other colors, purple, all the other colors, green, lavender, all of it is nothing but red, yellow, and blue. So in the same way, they looked at creation, even if something was a different color, like a pink, they knew that it is just these three subtle elements alone, and it is these three subtle elements alone that are existence. So they were quite pleased. So now remember the whole train of thought. So the train of thought was, is there something? There is something. Did you find out that by which the unheard becomes heard? The unthought of becomes thought of. The unknown becomes known. Did you find that out, Śvetaketu? And he said, no. And his father said, let me tell you. The answer is existence. Because by knowing existence, everything is new. By knowing the clay, pot, pitcher, cup is new. By knowing gold, bracelet, necklace, earring is new. By knowing existence, this whole world of names and forms is known. Therefore, nothing stands to be known. Nothing stands to be heard of. Nothing stands to be seen. And this existence that which appears as many is also Chit, is also pure awareness. And why should we know that I am existence? Why should I know that I'm pure awareness? Because that Sat and Chit is Ananda. And only in infinite existence, infinite consciousness, that non-dual bliss, only in recognizing that, we will truly have Ananda. We will truly be able to rather manifest this Ananda. Otherwise, we will be again feeling this limitation and pulled towards this world of duality, ever trying to complete our already complete self. This is our project, trying to complete our already complete self. And we will spend lifetimes and lifetimes and lifetimes having to do so, sadly. Again, after this class, we will again do the same thing. Unless it has hit us very, very hard. Now, the ending of this is, ending of mantra 7 is that our Uddālaka Ṛṣi tells Śvetaketu, you have seen how fire and water and earth are there in all of these beings in the world. I want to show you in a person how there is fire, how there is water, how there is earth. So now in section 5, which we'll take up next week, he will show in the individual what happens. How is there fire? How is there water? How is there earth? And then he puts Śvetaketu through a whole experiment. And then slowly, as I said to you, in the 8th chapter, Tattvamasi will come for the first time. Now it's just warm up. Okay? All right. We'll say the closing prayer. Then anyone who has questions, we can take that up. Then we'll sit. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi